There's a moment that happens to me every single trip, and I've never been able to fully explain it. It's not on a ride. It's not during the fireworks. It's not even at a meal I've been looking forward to. It's something smaller than all of that. Maybe it's the way the light hits Main Street at dusk when the lampposts flicker on. Maybe it's catching a specific song drifting out of a doorway that I haven't heard in years. Maybe it's a cast member doing something so quietly kind that nobody else around me even notices. And every time it happens, I think, this is the thing. This is what I keep coming back for. Today, I want to talk about those details, the small ones, the ones most people walk right past. Because after 30 years of coming to this place, I'm convinced they're not small at all.
I'm Lee with All About the Duck.
And my husband and I have been coming to Walt Disney World together for a long time. Honestly, too many trips to count. And after all of those visits, I've noticed something. It's never the big moments I remember most. It's always the small ones. And today, I want to talk about those. Let's get into it. Let's get started with something that doesn't get nearly enough credit. The music. Not the big stuff, not the fireworks, soundtrack, or the parade music. I mean the background music. The loops playing quietly through speakers hidden in lampposts and planters and places you'd never think to look. Disney background music loops are works of art in their own right. They're designed to do something very specific, to tell your brain where you are before your eyes even have a chance to confirm it. The moment you step into World Showcase and hear that music shift as you cross from one country into another, that's not an accident. That's intentional storytelling through sound. I've caught myself standing completely still in the middle of a walkway just to listen. My family has learned not to rush me in those moments. The Magic Kingdom loop that plays in the morning before rope drop might be my single favorite piece of Disney audio. There's something about hearing it while the park is still quiet, while the day hasn't started yet, and anything feels possible. It still hits me the same way it did 30 years ago. If you never just stopped and listened, really listen, I want you to try on your next trip. Put the phone down, close your eyes for 30 seconds, and just hear where you are. I promise, it'll change something about how the park feels. This one sounds strange until you've experienced it. And then it makes complete sense. Disney World smells intentional. Main Street USA pumps the smell of fresh baked goods through the vents near the bakery specifically because they know what smell does to memory. It's not accidental, it's designed, and it works on me every single time without fail. 30 years in, and that smell still stops me in my tracks. But it goes beyond Main Street. The Pirates of the Caribbean queue has that specific damp, mossy bayou smell that starts before you even get inside. Walking through the Germany Pavilion at Epcot smells different than walking through France. The resort lobbies each have their own signature scent. The Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, even Pop Century has its own smell that after enough visits becomes its own trigger for memory. Smell is the most powerful memory sense we have. Scientists will tell you that. Disney figured it out decades ago and built it into the architecture of the experience. And every time I catch one of those smells, the right one, in the right moment, I'm not just in the park. I'm in every version of the park I've ever visited at the same time. That's not a small detail. That's everything. Disney's relationship with light deserves its own documentary. The way Magic Kingdom transforms as the day moves towards evening is something I don't think gets talked about enough. It's gradual and it's deliberate. As the afternoon crowd thins and the sun drops, the park shifts into an entirely different version of itself. The lampposts warm up, the castle changes color, shadows get longer and somehow more dramatic. The whole place gets quieter and more intimate in a way that feels almost impossible for somewhere that hosts that many people. I always tell people, if you leave Disney World before dark, you are leaving the best part behind. The nighttime version of Magic Kingdom, especially, is a completely different experience than the daytime one. And most people miss it entirely because their feet hurt and their kids are tired and they're already thinking about tomorrow. Stay every time. Stay. The way Cinderella Castle looks during the projection show. The way Main Street glows when every single light is on and the crowds have thinned. That's the version of Disney World that gets built into your memory permanently. That's the version you'll close your eyes and see 20 years from now. Light is how Disney tells you the day isn't over yet. And I've never been able to say no to that. I know this one is going to surprise some people, but hear me out. The transportation at Walt Disney World is part of the magic. And I mean that completely sincerely. The monorail, the ferry boat, the Skyliner, the resort boats, even the buses, honestly. When you're riding one back to your resort at the end of a long day and the whole bus is full of tired, happy people still wearing their ears, there's something about that shared exhaustion that feels like community. But the ferry boat especially. The Walt Disney World ferry boat crossing Seven Seas Lagoon with Magic Kingdom sitting right there across the water. I have taken that boat hundreds of times and I will never take it for granted. The moment the park comes into view from the water, the castle and all, still gets me every single trip. A lot of people skip the ferry boat because the monorail is faster. And I understand that. But faster isn't always better at Disney World. Sometimes the journey to the thing is part of the thing. Walt Disney understood that. He designed transportation that was an experience in itself, not just a way to move people from one place to another. That philosophy is still alive in the ferry boat crossing. And every time I'm on it, I feel connected to something much bigger than a theme park. I've saved this one for last because I think it might be the most important. You can replicate a lot of what Disney does. Other theme parks have figured out magic and lighting and even some of the smell tricks. The rides are getting better everywhere. But nobody has figured out how to replicate the cast members. I don't mean that as a corporate talking point. I mean it as someone who has been watching cast members work for 30 years. The way the best ones do their job. The genuine attention. The noticing, the willingness to create a moment out of absolutely nothing. That is a skill that Disney cultivates intentionally, and it shows. I've had cast members notice something was off and quietly fix it before we even realized there was a problem. And the small moments, the ones that don't cost anything. A cast member in full character who holds eye contact with a little kid just a beat longer than necessary. A parade performer who spots someone in a wheelchair and makes sure that specific person gets an extra moment. A custodial cast member who uses a mop to draw a hidden Mickey on the wet pavement for a passing family. Those moments don't show up in the brochure. They can't be scheduled or planned for. They just happen because Disney has built a culture where the people who work there actually care about the people visiting. And after 30 years, that still surprises me, and I hope it never stops. Here's what I've come to believe after all these years. The rides are incredible. The food has gotten genuinely great. The new attractions are technical marvels that I couldn't have imagined when I started going. But none of that is what I'd miss if it disappeared. What I'd miss is the music shifting as I cross into a new land. The smell of the bakery on Main Street before the crowds arrive. The way the castle looks at 9 p.m. when the light turns everything gold. The ferry boat with the park coming into view across the water. The cast member who noticed something nobody asked them to notice. Those are the details that make Disney World feel like Disney World. And as long as they're there, I'll keep coming back. I'd love to know which small Disney detail means the most to you. Drop it in the comments. Seriously, I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know if this video resonated with you. Hit that like button and subscribe to All About the Duck. We post new Disney World content every week, and this series is just getting started. And as always, see you real soon.